Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is Michael. And here it's a nice morning in Finland, and we're going to be doing the reappearance of the Christ meditation. Probably the most important event on our planet for the sake of the planet and the emergence of the planetary soul, and for the sake of the various kingdoms of nature, and especially of humanity. Now, before we begin, I'd like to just continue reading a little bit from the reappearance of the Christ. And we had been looking at what the rather dismal hope of the orthodox and unimaginative theologians has been. It is very problematic, and it still exists, and maybe even has intensified to a certain extent as certain types of dogmatic Christianity have become stronger, that at some distant date, according to the inscrutable will of God the Father, Christ will issue forth from his seat at the right hand of God, and followed by his angels and the church invisible, descending upon the clouds of heaven to the sound of the trumpet, he will make an appearance in Jerusalem. The battle raging at the time will then end, and he will enter the city of Jerusalem to rule for 1,000 years, and during this millennium, Satan, or the principle of evil, will be bound or imprisoned, and there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and further than that we are told nothing. Humanity hopes for so much more than the picture just presented. So behind this portrayal, the Tibetan says, if rightly interpreted, stands the human, the loving, and the divine presence of the Christ, embodying divine love and wielding divine power, directing his church and establishing the kingdom of God on earth. And of course, all of this with the assistance of the Master Jesus and the Master Hilarion and others of his ashram, others of the Masters. What is the Church of Christ? It is constituted of the sum total of those in whom the life of Christ and the Christ consciousness is to be found, or in the process of finding expression. It is the aggregation of all who love their fellow men, because to love one's fellow men is the divine faculty which makes us full members of Christ's community. Now just pause on that for a moment. It is so germane to what the community of Christ is, to what the fifth kingdom of nature really is. To love one's fellow man is the divine faculty which makes us full members of Christ's community. And then we can see, of course, how far away some people who profess orthodoxy in any religion are from the ideals of their founder. And in this case, we're talking about Christianity. It's a scorpionic religion, says the Tibetan, and there's a lot of people in it, who hate and who do not love. because the belief system of others is not exactly as their own. Now that is an example of being captured by the rigid concrete mind, and there's no soul in it, if you know what I mean. So going on, it is not the accepting of any historical fact or theological creed which places us en rapport with the Christ. I remember, I've conducted choirs in so many churches, and I always remember the Apostles' Creed, and it made the believers secure in their stance. But it's not the defining issue. It's the love that defines the kingdom of God and the wisdom that goes with it. The citizens of the kingdom of God are all those who are deliberately seeking the light and attempting through self-imposed discipline to stand before the one initiator. Now those are two of the examples of what it means to be a first-degree initiate, to seek the light through some sort of spiritual teaching or some sensitivity to subjectivity, and eventually to stand before the Christ, having somewhat succeeded in this. This worldwide group, whether in the body or out of it, accepts the teaching that, quote, the sons of men are one. And we have a great mantra of humanity that begins that way. They know that divine revelation is continuous and ever new, and that the divine plan is working itself out on earth. That idea of continuity and newness is crucial. We cannot follow the limitations of the concrete mind that want the truth delivered in concrete terms, that which will be forever true, and to the exclusion of all other proclaimed truths which are equally true. There are today on earth those who know that through the instrumentality, the inspiration, and the instruction of those sons of men who have wrought out their divinity in the crucible of daily human living, that the kingdom of God will come into being. And of course, this is the Tibetans' method, so often understanding mnemonics and how to drive a point home through the repetition of words that begin with the same letter. But this kingdom of God has to be wrought out in daily living. It's not simply a matter of belief. These are knowers, okay? These knowers, says the Tibetan, now work actively under the direct impression of the Christ in leading humanity from darkness to light and from death to immortality. And we might, say along with that, from the unreal to the real. These are the great underlying truths which are distinctive of the Christ, of the Buddha, and of the Church of God as it expresses itself in the East and in the West. These are the only truths which matter. In the future, the eyes of humanity will be fixed upon Christ and not upon any such man-made institutions as the Church and its dignitaries. Well, it's in all fairness, in some quarters of new presentations of religion, that fixation upon the Church and its dignitaries is waning. And we can expect that the more the conventional religion is seen to fail humanity, as it did during the Great War, and other institutions failed too, the more the real living Christ will be the object of thought and not the outer form. Christ will be seen as he is in reality, working through his disciples, through the masters of the wisdom, and through his followers who toil unseen and usually unrecognized behind world affairs. The sphere of his activity will be known. The sphere of his activity will be known to be the human heart. That's a beautiful statement. The sphere of his activity will be known to be the human heart, and also the crowded marketplaces of the world, but not some stone edifice, and not the pomp and ceremony of any ecclesiastical headquarters. So let's stop here and hopefully take up next time, or shortly, the future work of the Christ. Really, you could begin anywhere in this book and read a few paragraphs, and some important lesson would be delivered. So I'm just typing this in. And today is the 30th of July. And we'll see on the 6th of August, I guess, that will be our occasion. Yes. Begin ROC, Reappearance of the Christ, 6th August 2020, and it is a evening broadcast. Okay. Plenty to think about. The real Christ, known to some, and not suspected by many, for whom dogma has taken the place of a living appreciation and engagement with the quality of love. So love wisdom is coming to earth. It's the sole ray of our planet, and the fifth kingdom of nature is emerging under the leadership of the Christ. These are the facts which we must emphasize. We have a tremendous educational work to do, obviously. So these are words by the Tibetan, and we are grateful for his teaching. Now we get into our meditation further, and we align as much as possible with the soul on the higher mental plane, or at least the vehicle of the soul, the causal body, egoic lotus, in which we find the supervisory angel of the presence. And we breathe in the white light, and see our co-disciples in the light. And the love and goodwill and the light, they're all passing through our triangles with which we hope to esoterically support the emergence of the plan on Earth. And we achieve a positive and intended personality quietness, and in that quietness, under the light of the soul, pervaded as much as possible by the light of the soul, we in our own words seek to answer the following questions. As a member of the new group of world servers, what is my specific intention at this moment of dedicated contact with my soul? Is my concentrated and expressed personality purpose in line with hierarchical intention, as far as I am permitted to know it? Have I, in my own personal daily life, earned the right, because of definite effort and not so much because of success, to stand with those servers who are now undertaking the work of preparation? And this is the one time in the meditation where we're thinking of ourselves as a personality. It's a method of personality-focused attention, and tends to align our personality upon the mental plane. Now, having answered these questions in the light of the soul and trying as much as possible to stand with those who are definitely working for the externalization and the reappearance, we say the following very important mantra. Forgetting the things which lie behind, I will strive towards my higher spiritual possibilities. I dedicate myself anew to the service of the coming one, and will do all I can to prepare men's minds and hearts for that event. I have no other life intention. So in light of this very strong commitment, we visualize the world situation as best we can, and in terms of our major world interests, and with what knowledge of world affairs we may possess. See the mass of men everywhere glowing with a dim light, and here and there points of brighter light where members of the new group of world servers and people of spiritual intention and of loving hearts are working for their fellow human beings. Now, we visualize through the creative imagination, the vivid light of the hierarchy, streaming towards humanity and slowly merging with the light which is already in the human race. And then together we say the first stanza of the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. And then we ponder on the reappearance of the Christ and realize that no matter by what name he may be called in the many world religions, he is still the same great spiritual identity. And reflect and speculate upon the possible results of his reappearance. We know that he is eager to appear to his loved humanity, even anxious, says the Tibetan. And so when will he at last appear? For how long? For what period of time must we endure struggle and fight? And the reply comes with clarity. He will come unfailingly when a measure of peace has been restored, when the principle of sharing is at least in process of controlling economic affairs, And when churches and political groups have begun to clean house, and surely we can contribute in some way to the institution of these three great objectives, then he can and will come, and the kingdom of God will be publicly recognized and will no longer be a thing of dreams and of wishful thinking and of orthodox hope. So then let us say together the second stanza of the invocation. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. Let us endeavor to concentrate our fixed intention to serve and spread love in our surroundings. And let us realize that insofar as we can do these things, we are attempting to bring our personal will into line with the divine will. And then together, the third stanza of the will. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. And we lay our practical plans for the coming week. As part of those who are fulfilling the role of forerunners, we think what we must do week to week and during the next 5 years especially, to help prepare the way. And let us respond to the vibration of the Christ and commit ourselves in His name. We have gathered in your name, Lord Maitreya. Be with us. And we know that wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in His name, there He will be. So let us sound the Om 3 times, dedicating the threefold personality to the work of preparation. We want to thank you, Tuya and I and the whole communications team, for being here with us this morning. Tonight we'll be working on the webinar via Zoom for the identification as being, a parallel curriculum. The serious festivals, or the festivities, shall we say, of Sirius Leo full moon are coming up, and you should be receiving from us very shortly a schedule for all of the offerings that we will be broadcasting and webinaring. And meanwhile, it's a quite a high point in the spiritual year, this Sirius Leo work. So let us concentrate on approaching ever closer to cooperation with the spiritual hierarchy. Lots of love, many blessings, and we'll be with you again later on today and quite a bit over the next several days and into next week. All the best.
He arose. Spirit.